Welcome to The Explainer. Let's jump right in. Today, we're tackling a mystery that I know affects so many of us. You know the drill. Why is it that you can conk out for a full night's sleep, yet still wake up feeling completely wiped out? Well, we're going to look under the hood of your body's nighttime recovery process, and we're going to spotlight a hugely overlooked mineral. It's basically a natural panacea. By the end of this, you'll know exactly how to tweak your internal environment so you actually get the deep, restorative rest you've been craving. Seriously, have you ever logged a solid 8 hours, but when that alarm goes off, you feel like you haven't slept a wink? Yeah, I think we've all been there, and it's incredibly frustrating. And look, it's super easy to just write it off as, oh, I'm just getting older, or I'm stressed at work. But here is the absolute key. Just lying there in bed for a long time does not mean your body's actively recovering. Sleep duration and sleep depth, they are two completely different beasts. If your internal recovery environment isn't dialed in, your body is literally working overtime while you sleep. You're not resting at all.
So what's actually going on? Well, your body isn't recovering because it's silently fighting a war against microinflammation. Just from going about your day, walking, doing chores, sitting at a desk for hours, or, let's be real, staring down at your smartphone, your muscles and joints take on microscopic damage, and your body responds by releasing inflammatory cytokines to fix it. That's a totally normal, necessary process. But, and this is a big but, without the right internal environment, that inflammation just goes absolutely haywire. Instead of repairing you, it keeps your brain too alert to enter those crucial deep stages of sleep.
Okay, so how do we fix it? Enter magnesium. Think of magnesium as your body's master switch. It's the ultimate biological catalyst that steps in and tells those overactive inflammatory cytokines to just chill out. But it does something else that's absolutely crucial. It relaxes muscle tension. See, if your muscles are holding on to even a tiny, barely noticeable amount of tension, your brain feels that stimulation. It senses it, and it pulls you right out of deep sleep. You might not even open your eyes, but your sleep architecture is completely wrecked. Magnesium acts as a natural muscle relaxant, letting you finally sink into that deep, uninterrupted healing sleep.
Section 1. Reviving your cellular engines. Let's move on.
Now, to really grasp how this mineral works, and we're talking way beyond just sleep here, we need to zoom in. Let's look at the microscopic level to see how it restores your stamina and fights aging. You've got mitochondria in your cells, right? Think of them like the battery inside your smartphone. Our bodies run on cellular energy called ATP, made right there in the mitochondria. But as we get older, and especially if we're lacking magnesium, these tiny power plants degrade. They just can't hold a charge anymore. It is exactly like an old smartphone that hits 10% battery by lunchtime. Magnesium is the spark. It's literally required for ATP synthesis. Without it, your cellular battery just goes flat, and you end up feeling chronically exhausted from doing the bare minimum.
And you know, the energy drain doesn't even stop there. Whenever your body burns fuel, it produces a byproduct called lactic acid. Imagine a fire. Lactic acid is like the leftover ash. If you don't sweep that ash out, the fire eventually chokes and dies. As our metabolism naturally slows down with age, that ash just piles up like bad debt, completely sapping our stamina. But here's the cool part. Magnesium actually powers up the citric acid cycle. It acts like a biological broom that rapidly sweeps all that ash away. It clears out the lactic acid and massively reduces that heavy physical fatigue.
This completely transforms your daily energy economy. If you're short on magnesium, your body is suffering from a constant, invisible energy leak. Your nervous system is basically stuck in this state of subtle, low-level panic. You know that feeling when you're just tense, maybe a bit irritable, and you can't seem to let your shoulders drop? That tension is literally burning up your daily energy reserves for absolutely no reason. But top up your magnesium and your nerves finally relax. You stop bleeding energy on background anxiety, creating a solid shield against chronic exhaustion.
Section 2. The hidden calcium trap. All right, get ready for a pretty major paradigm shift here. We really need to rethink everything we've been told about bone health and those daily supplements so many people just blindly swallow. Especially as we hit our 50s and 60s, the common advice is always, load up on calcium, protect those bones, right? But here is the crazy part. Chugging massive amounts of calcium does not automatically mean it magically goes straight into your bones. Actually, if you take calcium without balancing your other minerals, it can end up in all the wrong places, silently calcifying your blood vessels and your internal organs. Yikes!
It all boils down to this absolutely crucial biological relationship. Calcium triggers muscle contraction. Magnesium triggers muscle relaxation. They're a team. They have to work together. If you've got a surplus of calcium just floating around your bloodstream, it can stick to your artery walls, hardening them. Or it builds up in your kidneys, which means agonizing kidney stones. Magnesium is the biological traffic cop. It actively grabs that calcium, steers it away from your soft tissues, and guides it safely into your bones where it actually belongs. This single mechanism is what helps prevent terrifying things like arteriosclerosis and sudden heart arrhythmias.
To put a number on this, let's look at a very specific, very powerful stat, the number 4. Clinical studies show that proper magnesium levels can gently lower your diastolic blood pressure by about 4 millimeters of mercury. Now you might be thinking, 4? That's barely anything. But that is exactly why it's so brilliant. Magnesium helps your body produce nitric oxide, which naturally and gently opens up your blood vessels. Strong prescription meds might aggressively drop your pressure by 10 or 15 points, but that can cause orthostatic hypotension. You know, when you stand up fast, get super dizzy, and maybe even take a fall. Magnesium doesn't do that. It just gives you a gentle, safe, natural relaxation of the cardiovascular system.
Section 3, Natural Cures over Supplements. Let's get into the practical stuff.
So how do we actually harness this cellular recovery without wrecking our bodies with side effects? First rule of thumb, be super careful in the supplement aisle. A lot of folks hear about magnesium, run to the pharmacy, and just grab the cheapest bottle on the shelf. Big mistake. Many of those cheap pills, especially magnesium oxide, are the exact same chemical compounds doctors prescribe as heavy-duty laxatives. I'm not kidding. If you pop those every night hoping for deep sleep, you're not going to get it. You're just going to obliterate your gut health and spend the night running to the bathroom.
What we want to do instead is turn to whole foods. That's how you get a slow, sustained, and perfectly safe absorption of magnesium. And it's so easy. Just sprinkle a few specific things into your evening meals. Take kinako. That's roasted soybean flour. It is fantastic for easy digestion at dinner time. Or try snacking on some crushed almonds and nuts in the evening. That gives your body a slow drip of magnesium all night long. And if you make a habit of adding seaweed, sesame seeds, and beans to your regular meals, you're guaranteeing a steady stream of gentle cellular repair. It's safe, it's totally natural, and your body actually knows how to process it.
By adopting this simple routine, you are doing absolute wonders for your body. Getting magnesium-rich foods at dinner stops those invisible nighttime microtremors. Because when your muscles are starved of magnesium, they actually spasm and clench subtly throughout the entire night. Over time, that constant tension literally tears your muscles down, speeding up age-related muscle loss, or sarcopenia. But by just eating a few nuts or beans at dinner, you're essentially giving your nervous system and your muscles a deep, natural massage from the inside out while you sleep. You are actively preserving your strength.
And we cap off that dinner routine with one incredibly simple rule, the number 1. Exactly 1 glass of water right before you get into bed. Why? Well, we all sweat at night. We lose moisture and we get a bit dehydrated. When that nighttime dehydration crashes into a calcium-magnesium imbalance, boom, you get those agonizing scream-into-your-pillow nighttime leg cramps. Pairing your magnesium-rich dinner with exactly 1 glass of water before hitting the sack is literally the ultimate scientifically backed cure to stop your calves from violently seizing up at 3 a.m.
So I'm going to leave you with this one thought. What tiny habit are you going to change tonight so you can wake up a completely new person tomorrow? Maybe you just toss a handful of crushed almonds onto your salad tonight, or maybe you just promise yourself to drink that 1 glass of water before flipping off the light switch. We aren't talking about massive, stressful lifestyle overhauls here. These are just smart, targeted biological tweaks. Give them a try tonight. Give your body the tools it is literally begging for and set yourself up for a lifetime of incredible cellular recovery. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and hey, I hope you sleep like an absolute rock tonight.